if you're a light worker or a healer, or you're just wanting to get your voice out so that you can help, but you're feeling as if perhaps you're not getting the views, or maybe you're not getting the right clients, people aren't seeing you, people aren't being able to even get your services because they don't even know about you, this reading is for you. The cards that came out are super insightful, here to understand, first of all, perhaps why your message isn't resonating with people, but also to give concrete steps on what you can do to get your message out, to get more views, to get more seen, so that you can help. Let's dive in. So for today's reading, we are going to talk about, let's see, two cards wanted to come out. We got the Seven of Wands and we got the Six of Wands, two wands. Wands have to do with our passion, our energy, our creativity. And the Seven of Wands, let's start with this card. The Seven of Wands is about basically feeling as if you're having to defend your idea, feeling as if you have something to say, but you're always feeling like you have to defend it, or you're kind of in conflict competition for it or something. But what's interesting about this card in this deck is that it's like a flame, and I feel like it's like pushing everybody away, actually. It's almost like the message or the light that you have is kind of like shining people away. And what's interesting is then we have the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands is all about public recognition and success, victory, kind of like having people recognize your success and what you've done. And what I'm getting actually from these two cards together, especially because, again, the imagery here is this lone butterfly. It's not really about, it doesn't seem to be public recognition. Like there's not like people cheering. And what I'm getting is it's almost like maybe you're shining your light so bright right now and you're trying so hard maybe to get a message out. Maybe you're a light worker or a healer, or you're just wanting to help, but somehow the light that you're shining out right now is like either repelling other people, or it's just you're feeling like you have to defend it, or you feel like you have to fight for it to kind of get your idea out, whereas what you're wanting to do is to help with that light, to kind of shine a light in the darkness around. But instead of that, people are kind of not coming towards you. And especially with this one, the public recognition, again, it's almost like what I'm getting is perhaps you're not actually being seen, or you feel frustrated from not having the public recognition for everything that you're doing, for that light that you're shining out. So to me, I feel like this is a reading that's going to be for light workers or healers that are wanting to shine their light, to bring, good peace, some great messages, healing to the world, but it's just you're not getting that social recognition. So on that, let's have a look at, perhaps, I'm curious to understand maybe why it is. What is it about your message or what you're doing that is not resonating with others, or maybe why is it that you're not being seen? I'm curious. I want to actually pull three cards for this. Let's have a look. Okay, so we got the Ace of Wands. The first card that came out was the Ace of Wands. Then we got the Three of Wands. Wow, more wands. We had this, we started the reading with the Six and the Seven of Wands. Again, wands have to do with our energy, our creativity, our passion, our drive, which makes sense if you're a light worker or a healer. And then we got the Daughter of Pentacles. So let's go through each one of these individually, and then we'll bring them back together all at the end. What I'm getting, it's funny, with this first card, I'm really seeing that flame again. And I'm seeing like this kind of like spark, and this light that's coming out, and it's great when we have that spark and that creativity. It's wonderful. But it's sometimes true, I know for myself, especially when we have this thing and we want to share it so bad, sometimes we can come across as preachy because we're kind of like wanting to share it with people, and maybe they're not always ready. And so sometimes it's also just about, not dimming your light, but just remembering that, especially, let's say, when you have something new and you're coming in, you have to remember that it's almost like when you get into a dark room, let's say, and you're coming in with this like super new idea, and you're going to brighten up the room, and that is going to be really good, right? But sometimes, when you get into a room and you turn on the light and you're kind of like blinded at the beginning, I feel like that is the image that's coming here with these two cards. You're kind of blinding people. And so it's almost like they have to adapt. They have to kind of like get used to the light before they can actually get attracted to it. So to me, I think this is also about, so one of the reasons you're not resonated is maybe that you're so bright that people have to adapt or get used to it. I also think it's probably because you have something very fresh, very new. And so as a result, like, it takes a little bit of adaptation to have people actually like be able to understand it. It's almost like the zeitgeist of the culture, and like, you know, sometimes like we can be a little bit ahead of ourselves or ahead of the crowd, and that's okay, but it can make us feel really kind of um anxious because we're like, well, what's wrong with my message? Nothing's wrong with the message. The message is fine. It's just that it might be a little early, let's say, for people to be attracted to it, and they just have to adapt. It's not going to be long. It's like, you know, when you turn on the light, it doesn't take that long for your eyes to adapt, and then you can see, and then and people are going to be like, wow, thanks for bringing all this light into this dark room. But the initial spark can have that first effect where you get people to be a little bit off put. I also think, don't forget, aces are about beginnings and things that are new. And I think this idea comes back, especially with the daughter of Pentacles, which is also about newness and freshness. And so don't forget that, like, maybe your ideas aren't resonating because maybe they're fresh. Maybe they need a little bit of time to develop and mature, but it's not, the idea is there. So it's not the idea. The reason it's not resonating is not because the idea is wrong or that it's just that maybe it's a little bit, too soon, not too soon, but it's just like a little precocious. So you just need to be a little patient, I think, there. Then we got the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands is all about exploration and kind of like exploration, getting out of your comfort zone. There's definitely something that's associated with that card. And in a way, it's a very similar message to this one. I feel like it's almost like you're getting people out of their comfort zone, and that's a really good thing. But as a result, it's like it takes time, it takes adaptation, it takes people to be kind of like put their toe in and get their, you know, it's like you're getting into a hot bath and you put your toe in, and at the beginning it's way too hot and you can't get in yet, and then you kind of have to ease in. And I feel like it's a little bit like that here too. You have this wonderful center thing that you're bringing to people, especially if you're bringing it into this gray world. Maybe you're very orderly and you're going to be bringing some crazy new ideas, some healing, some beautiful logic or new ways of thinking, or some powerful things that are creative. But it is, sometimes people can be, you know, like, it can be very attractive, but when it's out of your comfort zone, it takes a little bit more time. So I think, again, it's the idea I find I'm getting here is that you have to have a little bit of patience. I also think that it kind of, like, to go back to this idea, I also think that there's this thing about you, especially with this one, exploration. Maybe sometimes when we're bringing in new ideas, new ways of thinking, you also have to wait until things catch up a little bit. Like, I know in my case, for example, I'm wanting to use tarot as a way of exploring our inside. I know I'm not the first one to do this, but I'm not using it as prediction. But I know that when I talk to a lot of people and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing coaching with tarot, the first thing that they have is, as like a knee-jerk reaction, is, oh, you're going to tell the future, or you're going to be, you know, like predicting something. And I'm like, no, it's not that. But I feel like I'm noticing more and more that I'm seeing more and more people using tarot to dive into their inner side and to do it more as like a tool for like self-exploration. And I'm actually realizing that it, like, sometimes that would scare me because I'm like, oh no, people are going to have my idea. But then actually I'm like, no, actually it's good for people to know that and to start having a different association with it. So again, it's like kind of exploring and getting, because you're exploring and doing something so new, you have to be patient for people to kind of adapt to it, but also maybe for the culture to finally get to it so that it's normal. I mean, like 10 years ago, nobody was talking about manifestation, or, you know, or even meditating, like, or yoga. Like, like 30 years ago, nobody was doing that. Now everybody does it, and that can be great, but you kind of need to wait for the culture to adapt to it. I'm not saying that's what you're going to have to wait 30 years. All I'm saying, though, is that is why maybe right now your message is not resonating. And then the last card, I think, is a lovely message here, which is the Daughter of Pentacles. And the daughters are the youngest of the court cards. And Pentacles do have to do with our finances and our careers. And so to me, it's also just a reminder that maybe one of the reasons your message isn't resonating is because you're fresh in here. You're just starting. Maybe you have a new idea, but again, it's not just because you're a new idea. It's just because you're starting. And sometimes building a business or building a career or building a client base takes time. And I know that's not always what we want to hear, but it is a reminder when this card comes out that we do sometimes just have to be patient and trust, though, and not lose faith, not start worrying that like either our idea isn't wrong. Again, the idea is there. I see this in the 3 cards that came out. It's not like another card that came out and it's like, maybe your idea isn't wrong or something like that. No, the idea is there. You have some really interesting potential that you're doing something different and that you're kind of getting out of your own comfort zone, but also maybe helping other people get out of their comfort zones. But as a result, you need to give it some time. Be a little patient. Remember that that is one of the reasons it's not resonating, is because maybe you don't have enough of the experience or enough like word of mouth. All that takes a little bit of time, but it will come. So now I'm actually curious to ask, what can we do in order to help ourselves, to help our message come out, to stop being in the shadows, to get a little bit more of that public recognition? Again, not because we want to be famous, but because we want to help. We want to get our message out. I know that's my case. So, 3 cards. Okay, 3 cards popped out. Let's have a look. We got the 5 of Swords. We got the 4 of Pentacles, and we got the Sun card. Interesting. These are actually pretty perplexing here, but let's have a look at them individually. So the 5 of Swords. What is the 5 of Swords? The 5 of Swords is all about conflict and kind of like being in competition, but also being like picking your battles, and it's almost like, yes, you might be able to win, but at what cost? So this is an interesting thing. So how to get more seen? Maybe it's about picking your battles. What are the battles, or what are the things that you're pushing? Maybe you're pushing too many things. Maybe you need to really concentrate on one thing at the beginning and focus on that. I'm thinking, for example, in my case, I know I'm on a lot of different platforms. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. Personally, I actually think I'm going to continue on all of them, because like I feel like I get different people reactions, and I think that they're really good. But that could be something in your case. Maybe you're pushing on too many fronts. Maybe there's too many things like Facebook even, or maybe find one and really concentrate on that. I also think it's interesting because maybe it's about picking your battles of what you want or what you will or won't do. Like I know, for example, in my case, like I've been told sometimes that my thumbnails aren't like catchy enough, or catch your eye. But I tried some of the other I tried some like more catchy thumbnails, and it really made me cringe. And so I think it's also about picking your battles. So maybe I need to pick my battle of, well, maybe I need to just go through the cringe to attract more people, or maybe I need to pick my battle and say, no, I'm okay with not having cringy thumbnails, and it might be a little slower. That's what this card, I think, is saying. Then we got the 4 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Pentacles is all about protecting and kind of like keeping things close. I also really think that this card is very similar to the 3 of Wands, actually, in its imagery, with that just like the gray all around, and then this middle part kind of pulsing in the middle. I always thought that this card in this deck looks like a really well-kept clock. Like everything needs to be well kept. And what I'm getting here is that in order to get maybe more seen, it's maybe important to keep all the elements of your own self really well greased, like a good clock. Like make sure that everything else in your life is well aligned, so that like, sometimes we get so focused on our message or all this stuff that we kind of almost don't listen to our own advice, and we stop meditating or doing exercise or eating well or sleeping or all these things. And sometimes it's about, I think, remembering to get back to your center, because this card is about protecting something. Usually, sometimes it could be about like money, but I also think it could be about yourself, like protecting your energy, protecting where you actually, maybe one of the reasons, one of the reasons your message isn't resonating, or what you could do to actually get it better, is that it's about protecting the time that you spend on it and really making sure that you give enough time to it. I know personally, for example, this is a good one for me. I feel like I'm kind of like drawn to do so many different things these days. And I know that my priority right now is my YouTube channel and my Instagram and all this, but sometimes like all these other things come up. But maybe I need to really protect my space, protect this career. Actually, Pentacles again have to do with our career and our finances. So maybe it's about protecting that. Yeah. So I think that it's just taking time to, like, one of the ways that you can make your message resonate more or be seen more is just to make sure that you protect the time that you give to it. And then I love seeing this card come up, the Sun. To me, this card is just a card of reassurance. Reassurance just to say, keep shining your light, because the Sun is all about that. It's all about truth, joy, happiness, just radiating out yourself. And what's interesting too, like this first card with the flame that's actually making the wands go away, the Sun is actually kind of making these birds like disperse. And I still think that the message here is how to get yourself more seen. Just keep shining your light. Keep shining. Keep being you authentically, because this card is all about the truth, about being aligned. Just keep doing that. I also think that is one of the, let's say with the battles, like keep being honest to yourself, like with the battles to fight, which ones are worth fighting for, and which ones are you want to just be yourself and be authentically you. And even if, let's say, like for example, I had somebody contact me and say, oh, I can get you a lot more views, and yeah, but is it winning views at all at any price? No, I don't want to just have more views. I want to have more people that I help. And so I think it's just about really tuning in to yourself and remembering, as long as you're authentic, as long as you keep shining your light, as long as you keep shining that light, that even if it at the beginning might be repelling other people, it's just going to be this beautiful thing that will bring a lot of joy and eventually be able to help a lot of people. But so this card to me is just about trusting yourself, trusting your light, trusting your shine, and just to keep doing that. So on that, I'm wishing you lots of love and lots of laughter as you deal with the frustrating part of maybe not being seen and feeling as if your message isn't being like helpful to the people that you want to help. But just to remember, I really think that this last card to me is the beautiful message of hope and love to you. Just keep shining. So I'll see you next video. Thanks so much for watching.